Hey guys, welcome to Basic Teen TV. My name's Melissa.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Cindy.
And we're a tiny little podcast where we talk about some 90s teen TV dramas. We've been discussing Dawson's Creek. We're more than halfway through season 5. And today we're going to talk about episode 18. Welcome.
We're on the home stretch.
We're on the home stretch, you guys.
Of the show?
Of this season.
Oh.
Yeah, but
also of the show, because there's only one more season after this.
we're like
There is?
3/4 of the way through.
I'm sorry. Yes, there's one more season.
Yes!
Okay, good. That's elation. I thought
There's only
You thought I was sad that there was only one more season?
There's only like 30 more episodes to go.
Well, just that we have one more whole season to get through.
and each season is like 112 episodes.
Yeah.
And each time you say how many episodes, it gets bigger and bigger.
and bigger.
It's like 500 more episodes to go. And then we're done.
And then we're done.
We're going to move on to something else.
Yeah.
Like
My So-Called Life.
yes. We're going to knock that out quick cuz it's only
In
one
like
season.
a week.
I feel like this is a sign of our age because we bring up the same thing over and over when we pretty much say the same thing.
I think that's
almost
a sign
exactly
of
the same way.
alcohol abuse.
Oh.
It has less so to do with age.
Well, it reminds me of like my dad. When he got older, he would tell me the same story over and over again. I'd have to remind him and be like, Dad, you've told me this story before. I've heard this story before.
So we've just run out of things to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Since the pandemic, how often do we leave our apartments? And then when we don't, or we do, we're doing work things, and we're not going to talk about work things here because it's not that interesting.
No.
I mean, Melissa's job is interesting, but my job's not that interesting.
Mine's not.
I mean, I guess I might have.
We have like fun stories about men who run around in little tight pants and
That's
boots.
true.
Yeah,
swinging their dicks around. Because
I work for a wrestling company.
Right. I work for
biggest wrestling company in the world. I'll let people guess which one that is.
Yeah, I work for a pharmaceutical advertising agency. It's my work is interesting to me, but it's not interesting to talk about. Nobody cares.
Yeah. I mean, mine is like a male soap opera. So
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Soap opera.
I mean,
for
we've
men.
seen the videos.
Yeah. Yeah. And y'all been to shows.
Yeah. Your
been to a
job
show with
literally
me.
involves half naked men in little Speedos and boots, and
Yeah.
they're all grappling and they're all lubed up and oiled up. Don't try to say that your job isn't interesting.
Well, sometimes what I do for the job is not interesting, but as a whole, it is an interesting place to work for sure.
Melissa literally I walked in and there's a folding chair wrapped in plastic next to our front door that has like wrestling characters on it. And she's like, yeah, that's just like a thing that you get to bring home from the shows. And I'm like, to beat people over the head with? And she's like, well, yeah, but you just you go to a show and you sit in the chair and then you get to bring the chair home with you. And I'm like,
yeah, it's a souvenir. It's a part of your ticket package.
I have never gotten a chair as swag before.
Good call.
It's always a water bottle or a t-shirt. You literally got a chair.
A beating chair.
Yeah,
Yes.
a chair to beat intruders with.
Yes.
It's parked by
Well-
the front door, so that when somebody breaks in, you can bash them over the head
That's
with it.
perfect. You don't need like a gun or a baseball bat.
No,
I got
you have
my
a folding chair.
got
And
my
I picked
folding
up the
chair.
chair. It weighs like 20 pounds.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
heavy.
really do some damage with
It's
that
heavy,
chair.
yeah. And I explained earlier that the reason that they made the folding chair a part of the swag for fans is that a folding chair in wrestling is often used as a weapon in the ring. So I think that's why they've grown to monotonize this iconic piece of wrestling weaponry.
Right.
Weaponry.
Right. And it's literally right by the front door.
Yeah.
So when somebody breaks in, you can be like, not today, motherfucker. And then beat them over the head with your wrestling
All
chair.
of the hours of wrestling I watched, I totally know how to use a folding chair now.
In the moment you will.
Yeah.
In the moment you will.
Mm-hmm.
Life or death, you're going to be like,
Uh-uh.
I've got this fucking chair.
Uh-uh. Watch out.
What are we here to talk about? Dawson's Creek?
Dawson's Creek. DC.
Okay. Episode 18 called Cigarette Burns.
Why?
It's called Cigarette Burns?
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Weird episode title.
It has nothing to do with anything.
No. Which is why I thought Highway to Hell for episode 17 was weird, but I figured y'all helped me figure that one out.
Are all of these like song titles? Highway to Hell is a song.
Yeah.
And
Cigarette Burns is not a song.
It's
title.
Maybe it's
like an Otis Redding.
Maybe it's something obscure.
Doesn't Otis Redding has a song called like Coffee and Cigarettes?
Mm-hmm, that's a good one.
Yeah.
In a Lonely Place. That's a song.
Anyways, maybe it is some sort of like strange ode.
But it doesn't make sense to this episode. It
doesn't make
all.
sense to this episode. You're right. Yeah. I don't understand.
I mean, I did.
In a Lonely
My
Place.
summation of this episode was that it was a hot, confusing mess, and cigarette burns are hot, and they could be confusing, depending on who put out a cigarette on you.
And messy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, just to set the scene, Dawson is showing Joey the movie. That's how the episode opens up. And Joey's gushing about the movie. And then she makes another comment about Charlie. She's like, oh, Charlie was shockingly good. And Dawson's like, oh, I know. I hate him for that. Anyways, and then Oliver pops up. And he's like, oops, sorry, guess what? I submitted our film. It's going to be screening at school. And a film critic's going to be there.
Totally inappropriate.
Totally inappropriate because Dawson was like, it's not done yet. Like, this is just the first cut. Like, this is the first edit. It's not done.
Actually, I've been on Dawson's side for the last...
Yeah, I know.
The whole last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Because he's been pitted against people who are much worse than him.
Yeah.
Even though he's not that great. But when once pitted against people who are even worse, then you're like, yeah.
Dawson's looking pretty good in comparison.
In comparison, yeah. So basically this whole episode is all leading up to this movie screening. And everyone's decided they're going to go. And so I feel like a majority of this episode takes place at the theater, right?
Yeah.
So Jack and Jen are going together. What? Why are you giggling?
Just trying to hold together the storyline of the episode. And
I mean, they're also, everybody gathers at the theater and then they wait for like
forever,
3 fucking hours, and all this drama plays out before they actually play the movie. And I'm like, how is this acceptable? But
and the whole episode,
it was a plot point.
And the whole episode kind of like, because it is centered around this film screening, I feel like the episode kind of reveals itself in bits and pieces because we're just kind of jumping from characters to characters. Like everyone's kind of paired up or grouped up together. And so, you know, we're just kind of bouncing back and forth between everyone's separate little dramas.
Right.
So I guess we can just kind of break it down that way. So
I want to break it down with grams first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I started out by saying like Jen and Jack are going to head to the movie together. And
they're at Graham's house.
They're at Graham's house and the doorbell rings.
Mm-hmm.
And
Jen opens the door and it's an African-American man.
And there's a long awkward silence between them because he just says hi, right? Or something. And she's like, hi.
Yeah. He's like, hello. And she's like, hello. Hi.
And then they're silent for like 30 seconds, which seems to go on forever. And she's like, can I help you? And he's like, you must be Jennifer. She's like, I am.
And he's like, compliments how beautiful that she is.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit confused about where this was going in terms of like intentionality from the show.
Yeah.
I was like, does the show want us to feel like, I mean, it's the early 2000s. Does the show want us to feel uncomfortable because it's a black guy? Or does the show want us to feel uncomfortable because it's an old guy that's there for grams?
Yeah, exactly. Like this
Just
is
intentionality.
This is a complete stranger at the door, and Jen's like, politely being like, who are you and what do you want?
Yeah.
But trying to be polite. But I don't think it goes there. And once So he comes in and it's
Well, he says, I'm a friend of your grandmother's.
right.
So she's like, oh, okay, well, come on in. And Jack comes barreling down the stairs. And the guy who hasn't introduced himself, I don't think.
His name's Clifton
Smalls. And
he's so cute and sweet.
he is cute and sweet, but so Jack comes down the stairs and he's like, you must be Dawson. And he's like, no, I'm Jack. And he's like, the homosexual.
I was like, what the fuck?
And Jack like freezes. He's like, yeah. I mean, I don't even think Jack says anything. He's just kind of like, okay.
But I think we're meant to think that it's like cute because the old guy is trying to be inclusive.
I really don't know what we're supposed to think.
The whole fucking scene is awkward.
It is awkward and confusing for sure.
Yeah, and then Graham comes up and they like fucking
straight up kiss
on the mouth.
On the mouth, yeah.
And then everyone's uncomfortable. Jen and Jack are like, the fuck?
And Grams is like
dating someone.
And Grams is like, oh, Jennifer, pull yourself together.
I kind of like that line actually.
But once again, the same with Dawson's mother in the last episode. She should have given the people in her life a heads up.
I mean, Jen, if no one else,
right?
Yeah. Jen's her granddaughter.
Should have been like, I have a new man in my life, friend. And he's gonna come and he's gonna show up tonight. So if a random stranger that you don't know, a man shows up at the door and knows who you are and compliments you on your appearance, it's my friend and it's fine, and you shouldn't be concerned,
right? Yeah.
Because I don't know if it was me, white or black or Asian or whatever, if some random man showed up and was like, you must be Victoria, you're so beautiful, I'd be like, who the fuck are you and what do you want? Get out of here. Weird. It's weird.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah.
But she was like, okay, I don't know you, but come on in. And then Grams is like, let's make out. In front of my granddaughter and the homosexual.
The homosexual.
I thought that was like of all the awkward moments in this scene, him saying the homosexual to me was the most awkward, because obviously we're in a different day and age now, and you just wouldn't say anything like that.
I mean, I think when in the 90s, he wasn't supposed to say that either, but it was supposed to be endearing because he was an older man who was trying to be
not hip.
Yeah, but he's trying to be inclusive. Right. So he's like,
and he's not like hip to the terminology that people use.
Yeah, he would be like, you're the gay.
You're the homosexual.
I mean, I think pointing it out, no matter what you say, is awkward.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't say it.
You're like, oh, yeah, you're the gay one. That's weird.
Like, even if you say that. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
no,
you have no other qualities about
except
just Jack.
Right. Yeah.
You're the gay one.
You're the gay one. You're the homosexual.
You're the token gay on this show. Cool. Got it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm the token black guy. This is great. We're really
We are both tokens. How do you like butthole? Because I'm into marinara, but I know that you're probably into butthole.
Oh my God. I hope we get over this metaphor.
No.
Never.
Oh, great.
It's been established and it will never go away.
Okay. All right.
But Jen brings up in a conversation later in the episode, she's like, I can't remember who she was talking to. But
she was talking to Joey.
And she's like, yeah, my grandmother is dating a very nice African-American man. So I'm just wondering, again, it goes back to intentionality. I'm wondering why they introduced him as a character, and
I think the dialogue that they gave Clifton to say regarding Jack, and I think the way that Jen describes this man as being a 60-year-old African-American man who's dating my white grandmother, is where this show is showing its age, is showing it's dating itself, because
it's supposed to be shocking, I guess. She's
Yeah,
like, man, my
yes.
night was so crazy.
Right.
Like my religious grandma
overtly
is now
religious
making
grandmother.
out with the black dude that
Right.
just like showed up on my front doorstep.
Also, can we talk about the age difference between Clifton and Grams?
You think he's younger?
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely.
I thought Grams was supposed to
maybe
be like...
that's why maybe that's why Jen brought up the age.
Yeah. Clifton is a solid 15 to 20 years younger than Grams.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows.
So not
I didn't
only is
pick
she
up on
dating a
that.
black guy, but she's dating a much younger
I mean,
black
good
guy.
for Grams.
Yeah, good for Grams.
Come on.
Yeah.
Get that big old mozzarella stick.
Here we go again.
A plus size mozzarella stick.
Plus sized.
I'm not even going to say what I'm thinking.
Say it.
No.
Say it and then cut it out. You're the one who has to edit this shit. Say it. I want to know.
I don't want to think about 60-year-old mozzarella sticks. That's all I want. That's all
Well,
I'm
now
saying.
I am.
Are they,
there
are they that
is-
different from 25-year-old mozzarella
I
sticks?
think they're significantly different than 25-year-old mozzarella
Okay, all right.
sticks. Come on.
40-year-old
My
mozzarella
vagina is already different than it was when I was 25.
Yeah, but how much different? I don't. What are the mozzarella?
Saggier.
The mozzarella
Probably.
stick?
I mean, I've never like...
or the
Well,
the
when you think
garlic
about
nuts
when you
that
think
come
about
with
the
it.
oh, I was gonna say meatballs.
I like garlic nuts. It fits in with the overall theme.
Well, meatballs is Italian too.
Yeah, but like the garlic nuts are... But it also makes sense with nuts. Garlic nuts.
Okay.
Melissa, you legit have to listen to all of this.
Yeah.
When you-
Uh-huh.
I feel like we're just having therapy at this point.
kind of.
Okay, so let's move on then.
Okay, all right, let's go.
All right.
Let's get it done.
Let's get it done, you guys. Okay, so the next little kind of vignette or whatever, if we want to call it that, is Joey shows up to the theater. She's by herself, I guess. She's walking down the aisle looking for a seat, and like she walks past Charlie.
In the worst sweater ever. He was wearing a sweater with like a big cross on
I
it.
didn't notice his sweater.
It was
and
gross.
he had what I did notice about his sweaters, he had thumb holes in the sleeves.
I did.
That's so cool.
I noticed that.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
really cool.
So cool.
It was like a sporty little crew neck.
like maybe like a rugby type sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like very knit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was like a knit
and like
sweater.
color blocky, like a rugby.
Like a rugby.
It was
yeah.
he had a big cross color block thing on it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it was the 90s.
Yeah.
You were around in the 90s. You remember?
I was alive.
Yeah, all right. You remember.
I
Clothes.
remember. I know. It was gross.
All right.
It was gross.
Well, he was wearing those clothes. He also had the fucking spiky hair with the frosted tips.
Yeah, his hair hasn't changed. Still looks also terrible.
That's his thing.
It is his thing.
His signature.
Yeah. It's
Are you
gross.
talking about the actor? Still has the same hair? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I just meant from the moment we met him in Dawson's Creek.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, that's his look. He's like
Yeah.
surfer skateboard dude,
Right. Yeah.
kind of, but with the Gap wardrobe, because that's what the whole show has to work with.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And so they sit down together, and oh god, this is one thing I hate about Dawson's Creek is like this show has the actors talk in metaphors way too much and for way too long. Charlie is like talking about how he's waiting for his date to arrive or waiting for some girl to arrive. And Joey's like, oh, well, okay, that's great. And he's like, well, you can sit here until she shows up. But then he just goes on and on about how great and like that this girl's out of his league and she's so beautiful and smart and blah, blah, blah. I mean, and the whole time he's talking about Joey. But I'm like,
but she knows it.
well, she knows
She's
it.
like playing along, so they're like doing like a little
gross flirtation.
right, like a weird game.
Yeah.
But she's into it and he's into it.
Yeah, but then he goes and says something bonehead, because she's like, I can tell that all you really want to do is ask me out on a proper date, and he's like, you want to know what I'm really thinking about? And she's like, what? He's like, I'm thinking about how I want to take you in the bathroom and ravage you. And she's like, what did you just say to me?
But why is she shocked by this comment? Like, what did she expect?
Well, because, and she explains it later. She's like, which guy are you? Are you the guy that I was talking to earlier
By the pool when
can
I was
have-
contemplating
Well,
suicide?
no, earlier on in the theater before he made that gross comment, you know, the guy who can have like a serious conversation and like be real with me, or you this like douchebag who throws out these vulgar things. Like, which guy are you? Which guy do you want to be?
It's all fair because they were having this annoying metaphorical conversation, but she was basically like told him,
Ask me out.
yeah, she basically was like,
Yeah.
ask me out on a proper date. That's what she
And he was like, I want to fuck.
yeah, and he was
Yeah.
like, I want to take you in the bathroom and fuck you up the marinara sauce and the butthole, whichever, I don't care. And she was like, what the fuck, you're not playing along. And it 100%, he fucking blew it.
He blew it.
All he needed to do, she basically did all the work and was like, here, you want to fucking score? Here's what you got to do. And he was like, nah, I'm gonna say something vulgar. And
But as someone who has said that Joey is out of his league, don't you think that you would act differently to a girl that you think is out of your league? Like, don't say the vulgar shit. Like,
Yeah, but
because the vulgar shit is what gets him every other girl he's ever had. You know?
he's
But
dumb.
he's a tool. Yeah, he's like a dumb idiot. And why did she expect anything different? She knows better. He fucked around with Jen, and then he cheated on Jen with someone else. It was a whole thing. Like, what did she expect from this man?
Well,
Girl, get it together.
because she's gotten glimpses of this other side of him.
She's being gaslit. She's been gaslit by the glimpses. He has proven that he's a piece of shit. He fucked your friend, and then he fucked your friend over. And now you're interested in him? What do you expect from this man?
I mean, yes, that's
Come
true.
on.
That's that in real life. That's true. In TV truth,
In DC truth?
In Dawson's Creek truth.
yeah, he's doing his best, but failing because she's like doing all the fucking mental labor in this flirtation, and she opened the door and he's like, I'm not gonna walk through it. Instead, I'm gonna say
I'm
something
going to
vulgar.
shit on the front doorstep.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna take a fucking shit
And then I'm
on
going to
the
light it on
doormat.
fire.
Exactly, exactly. And then she's like,
She's like, I'm leaving.
yeah, she's like, never mind, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
She had like a moment of clarity and she was like, no. And he was like, oh, I blew it by saying something dumb. Yeah, you did because you're an idiot.
Yeah. So she gets up and storms out, and then like Jen like meets her at the door, or she's coming down from the stairs. So what happened with Jen earlier is I don't know where she is. She's like somewhere at the backstage of the theater.
Oh yeah, Jen is in like the camera film room or
Yeah,
whatever.
she's like in the bowels of the theater or something, and she runs into Oliver, which is the writer of this Dawson's movie. I guess it's Oliver's movie because he wrote it, but Dawson was the director. And Oliver is like really nervous and very awkward, and like is trying to ask Jen out, and Jen just straight up rejects him. And she's about to leave the room, and he goes into like some cringe-worthy dialogue as well, like a monologue about how like, you know, you're gonna turn around and you're gonna see me differently. And Jen's like, I am gonna turn around just to prove that I'm not gonna see you differently. And she turns around and he disappears. And she's like, what just happened? So then she like comes down the stairs, she wraps her scarf around, and she sees Joey, and Joey's like, I'm going to walk out and get some air. And Jen's like, I'm going to join you. And so they go out and have a conversation. And Joey like wants to get some advice from Jen about fucking Charlie. But she doesn't say that it's about Charlie.
No, Jen has no idea that Joey has like a
crush on
her ex.
On her ex. Right.
Because
yeah.
this whole fucking friendship is so incestuous.
Just going around the merry-go-round.
And Charlie has no right to claim that that friend group fucks each other because
he's a part of it now.
He is in it.
He's in it.
He is in it.
Yep. And that's where Jen brings up, like, so Joey's like really frustrated about, like, you know, I've met this guy and he's charming, and it's, you know, and I think that's leading into a little bit of the gaslighting. Like, he's charmed me so much that I don't really see who he actually is. And that's where Jen brings up, like, you know, well, can I tell you something? She's like, sure, what? My grandmother is dating a 60-year-old African-American man named Clifton Smalls.
Crazy.
And Jen's
totally crazy.
And Joey's like, that's great. And Jen's like, it is great. And it leads to her saying, like, you know, I would hope that, like, when we get to be 60, and no matter where we are in life, whether we're with a man or we're single, but that we can look back on all these stupid boys and know that, again, no matter how old we are, that hopefully we will find a man who
loves and appreciates us and treats us right.
Right, yeah.
However, I saw this whole same scene and I'm like, we just met Clifton Smalls and we do not know him. And he could also be a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, he could be whack.
Why does Jen automatically assume that because Clifton Smalls is a 6-year-old African-American man that he's also an upstanding guy?
And like a mathematician.
And isn't going to fucking dick over grams? We don't know that.
We don't know that.
We don't know that. I think the assumption is, like, once you get to a certain age, you're going to be, like, sweet and kindly and genuine.
Guess what? Newsflash.
Not true.
With men, not true.
Not true at all.
They're still
Cindy
I
has
can speak
experience.
from experience.
Yeah.
I mean, not me like banging old dudes. I'm just saying my dad, he's like 67. He's still pulling all the same tricks that he used to pull in his 20s. He's up to all the same shenanigans that he's always been up to.
Right.
Like
right.
a tool is a tool, regardless of the age.
So point is, and I think what the point that Jen and Joey are missing is that they assume because a man is older and like that
they're like wiser,
a
and
math
more mature.
teacher, that they must be like an upstanding guy. No.
So the other kind of little vignette story is Audrey and Pacey. So these two are in full on sex mode. They're just having sex all over the place, up and down, everywhere. So this happens, I think, early on in the episode, obviously because before they head to the theater for the screening, and they start getting into a conversation about how many people they've slept with. And
but the opening scene with them was really, really racy.
Yeah,
because they're both, Pacey's laying on the ground and Audrey's in bed, and they're both like breathing heavily.
Yeah, they're
and
both
they're all
panting.
sweaty and naked.
Yeah, well, Pacey puts on his boxers, but
I don't think I've ever seen a scene in Dawson's Creek where two characters are naked.
I mean,
and
it
like
got
covered
a little
up by just covers.
We saw a little bit of that, but it wasn't as raunchy, I guess, as this scene with. I mean, raunchy's not the right word, but I know what you mean. Like, this was like full on sex, almost without the emotion. Although we know that Audrey and Pacey have feelings for each other, but I think another scene where we have seen characters naked together, or the illusion of being naked together, was when Pacey and Joey had sex for the first time, and it was like the next morning and they're both under the covers, so you only see like their shoulders, but like Joey's not wearing a bra, you know, it's just her bare shoulders. But that obviously, the like what they were trying to portray in that is sentimental, romantic sex. What Audrey and Pacey are doing,
It was not sentimental.
is like dirty sex.
Yeah.
And Audrey is like just covering herself with the comforter. And this time they had sex in Pacey's boss's apartment because he's house sitting, because chef guy took his wife to some tropical island. So Audrey felt really comfortable because they're having sex in a place that's all to themselves and no one's going to bust in and they're not in the backseat of a car or anything like that. But then they get in this conversation about how many people they've slept with, and Pacey's trying to like get it out of Audrey, like how many people we slept with. But then he's like, oh, I'm just kidding. It's none of my business. But then he offers up how many women he's had sex with. And he says he's had sex with 6 women, 7, including you. And Audrey compares herself. She lists a whole bunch of people who the only name that I could remember was Madonna. She's like, do these names, do you know these people? Do these, you know about their sex lives because it's posted all over Us Weekly and all that stuff, whatever. People magazine. And she's like, me compared to them, they're fucking prudes. And Pacey's like, what the fuck?
Like, damn, bitch.
How many
This girl
dudes
was
has this
18,
girl
19?
slept with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way she's been that much of a whore.
So the first number she drops with Pacey is that she's had sex with 27 men.
Bullshit.
I'm like, that is a lot.
That's a lot.
For an 18-year-old?
Realistically, for 27 to make sense as an 18-year-old, what's 20? Hang on.
Let's do some
I
math.
want to do some math.
Let's say you lost your virginity at like 16, 17. So you've got 20 months. 20 months, 27 guys. That's like 2.25 guy a month.
How do I do this math?
I just
Well,
did
Victoria
the,
just did
I
it.
just did the math.
Wait, so within 2 years, you've had sex with...
like 2.33 guys a month, something like that.
That's
Like,
a lot.
Two to
but
three guys.
starting at that age.
2 to 3 guys a month, every month from the age of like
16.
16 and a half to 18.
But then
She
throws a curveball.
Right. Well, she goes to so Pacey she gives Pacey this number while they're driving to the theater, and he wrecks his car because of it. It throws him off. And so they get to the theater, and Audrey like pulls Joey away from her conversation with Charlie, and she's like, "What should I do? What should I do?" And Joey's like, "You need to tell him the truth and the whole truth." Because like, do you want because like from this point on, like how honest can your relationship be? Because you're just going to have to build upon this lie from here on out. And I want you to be happy, and you deserve to be happy. So you need to go tell Pacey the truth. So Pacey's out in the lobby. He's having a drink with Jack, and Pacey's kind of having a conversation with Jack about it. And I don't really remember what they say. Do y'all remember what they say?
They're just saying, he says something flattering about her as she walks up behind him. So he's not doing anything bad.
Okay.
But
yeah.
she hears him. And then for some reason, she's like, actually, it's not 27, it's 57.
And he spurts out his drink from his mouth. It goes
Bitch.
all over him and all over Jack.
Shut the fuck up.
The only way that an 18, 19-year-old could have had sex with 57 men or women is if they were sold into like sex trafficking.
Sex trafficking, or they were a
There's
sex
no
worker,
way.
or a sex worker. Yeah. Victoria's doing the math again.
I mean, it's still like 3 guys a month. So let's say she's been having.
All right, that's not bad.
Let's say she's been.
I take it back.
I know, but still, 57 guys. Let's say she's been sexually active for 20 months. So like a year and a half and change, whatever. So let's say she lost her virginity when she was like 16 and 3 months, and now she's 19. 3 guys a month. That's a lot.
3 guys a month. Every month.
Every month.
Teenager.
Every
month for 20 months.
3 new ones.
Right.
Yeah,
3
new-
different
That's
people.
not including, like
Repeats.
you'll probably bang them more than once.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have like boyfriends or whatever. So 3 new partners a month, every month. Sorry, no.
No,
Incorrect.
not true.
Even the most adventurous and attractive of us We're not doing that.
I
It's
mean,
a lot of
I
effort.
did for like a year.
57?
No, like 3 new ones a month for sure. For like a year.
Okay.
But only a year.
That's fine.
You can't maintain that lifestyle.
No,
No.
man.
That's crazy.
You're wearing out your marinara.
Of course.
Yeah, you're going to just
It's like weak sauce. I'm
You're
not
gonna
trying to have my
stretch
weak
it all
sauce.
out.
Yeah, it's going to fall off.
It's going to be infected.
You're going to get that syphilis.
Mm-hmm.
So they sit down and they have an actual real conversation, and Audrey finally admits to the real number, which turns out to be 5.
Correct.
I just don't understand
It's
any
still,
of
it's
this.
still a lot. But go,
For
go
an,
ahead. Go ahead.
I guess it kind of is. For me, when I was 18, it was 1
For me, when
or
I was
19.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have sex for the first time until I was 18.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Or 19. I think I was 19.
So for you, it was 0.
0 at 18.
0 at 18, 1 at 19, and then it like skyrocketed to like 60
60?
within like a year.
No. Lies. You've not been with 60 men. Have you?
In life?
No.
Have you?
No.
Wait, can we take this?
Cindy,
Wait, can we
no.
take this off record for a minute?
Off record.
Oh, well, I had left off with that Audrey's final number was 5. So she totally owns up to Pacey, and she says, actually, it's just 5 people. And then she like explains the reason that she lied so much. Let's talk about it.
No, he's just
Well,
he's
like comfy in his little area.
yeah, he's got a comfy mountain.
And he's
That's
like,
so
I
cute.
was here. And then Cindy came over and pet me
She
and
riled me up.
disrupted me from my area.
Mhm.
He's like, now I'm back in my area.
Murphy's curled up. He's in bed. He's put himself to bed.
He's in the pillows.
yeah. That's his sleep spot.
Anyways, Audrey, 5.
Yeah, and
Makes
so,
sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
More sense than 57 or 27.
Yeah.
or even 27.
I mean,
right.
it makes less sense still at the age of 18 or 19. That's still a lot.
That's still kind of
Yeah,
a lot.
I mean, I think
but it's better than 57, which would legit make her like a prostitute.
we all went off record during this podcast. None of us have hit 57.
no.
No,
and we
we're-
are within the age of 38 to 40,
5.
45.
44.
I'm 45.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 37.
Oh, that's right. I'm 25
Forever.
forever.
And none of us have hit
That number.
yes.
No, that's an
Right.
insane number.
That's an
That's
insane number.
ridiculous.
But she kind of explains it as being like afraid. Like and Pacey even said like, so you were testing me. Like you were testing me to see how I would react and if I would like leave you or break up with you or like think that number was so outrageous that I couldn't be with you anymore. And like Audrey was like, yeah, I was just afraid. Like,
But also, what
I've
a
never been in
batshit
a real,
thing to do.
real relationship before.
If I had someone play me like that, I'd be like, this is a lunatic.
Yeah,
I'm
it-
not interested in this relationship. This is crazy.
It's weird. It's a weird thing to lie about.
It is
To tell your partner that you've been with like an
a million men.
ungodly amount of Humes.
Mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
So many mozzarella
That's a lot of
sticks.
mozzarella
Like,
sticks.
why?
So many mozzarella sticks. God. Ugh.
But then be like, psych.
I'd be like sick of mozzarella sticks after that. God.
I mean, to be honest, I'm talking about legitimate mozzarella sticks, not dongs. I'm good with
I don't
like,
know what we're talking
She's literally talking about the
I'm literally
cheesy
talk-
appetizer.
Well, no, you literally can't eat 57 actual cheese
I would
sticks.
gag.
You would
I
die.
would die.
No.
You would die.
But we're talking about 57 different men that you would have intercourse with over the course of a lifetime. Maybe, fine. Maybe. If you live long enough and you never got married or had a long-term relationship or whatever. But this is a woman who's like 18 or 19, and she's saying she's been with 57 people, which literally means she's been with like
Three men
three
every
or
month
4 men a month for the
for
last
2.5 years.
Gross.
Yeah.
What are you getting out of that?
I can't even believe that.
I didn't get anything out of that.
I
No, you're
couldn't
not
even
getting
believe
anything out
that
of that.
Pacey might have actually believed her, that number was true.
Well, he's naive, and he's like, "Oh, this is a worldly woman." Who
It was like she did crazy things to me.
yeah,
in bed.
like she moved from California, and like I don't know how they do things in California. Isn't that where she came from? California.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like I don't know how they fucking do things in LA, but apparently you start banging at the age of like 11.
12.
Yeah, and you've just had like 12, like couple of partners a month for every month for your whole life,
Straight.
starting at the age of 12.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're so in love right now. Pacey's like, I forgive you. Let's make out in the lobby of the theater.
That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah.
That's
and
how,
you're,
that's
and
how
you're
it
just
goes.
like, okay, you guys are, please start your relationship out on a high level of dysfunction.
Meanwhile,
That's what they're doing, though.
It's exactly what they're doing. But we're meant to think that it's cute.
It's not cute.
It's not cute at all.
It's
oh, it's
lies
super
and
cute, you
deceit.
guys. What are you talking about?
It's so cute that they lied about how many people they've slept
Deceit.
with.
So cute. So cute.
It's a meat cute.
Meanwhile, so I mean, throughout this whole episode, people are like, "Where's Dawson? Where's Dawson?" We're all waiting for this movie to start. Early on in the episode, Dawson is like in one of the rooms of the school, I guess, preparing the film because it's been actually shot on film. And this woman is on the phone, and we only hear one side of the conversation, and it's a breakup. And I watched this episode right before y'all came over, so I was half paying attention. So I don't know if she introduced herself in that moment, but she gets into a conversation with Dawson, and Dawson is like, "You're insane. You're high maintenance and insane." And they just kind of get in a little tit for tat type of conversation.
Like, he's up in like the film. What's it called? The room where the
Editing room?
well, the room where the movie is displayed under the screen. There's a name for that. Anyways, he's up there fiddling with the film, and she busts in.
She like busts in.
Yeah, and she's on her cell phone, and she's like, "Fuck you, we're done, whatever," having a breakup. And then she doesn't realize that she's not alone. And then he pops up and is like, "Are you okay?" And then she's like, "Oh, nosy much?" And he's like,
I've been here.
yeah, he's like, "Well, you busted into this space that I've been occupying and were yelling on your phone, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do in this situation." And then they get into like some weird conversation about films and like what's a good film and what's a bad film and like what's okay to like claim that you like and not.
She
claim.
calls him out on his pretension.
Yeah, he says, she's like, "What's your favorite film?" And he's like, "Run, Lola, Run." And she's like, "Bullshit. That's what you tell people."
He's like she's like typical.
yeah, to like to act like you're like knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And then at some point he like insults her. And then she's like, "Oh, thanks. Great. You know, I'm actually the film critic for like the Boston Globe. And I'm here
to review this film.
to review your film, and you're a jerk."
And Dawson's like,
I'm
"Oh,
outta here."
shit." Yeah. And so Dawson like runs to Oliver, and he's like, "I did this really bad thing." Oliver's like, "You better fix that shit." So Dawson like runs after her, I guess, or something, finds her and wins her over by telling her that he's read all of her film reviews in the paper. and she's really impressed. And I guess she kind of sort of agrees to, she's like, okay, we'll wipe the slate clean, start over. I'm here to review your film. But then she like, what leads to them going for coffee?
He like says some stuff to impress her, and she was like, okay, well, let's go over here to this coffee shop and see what happens.
Yeah.
And
It
I'm
was
like,
really weird.
That is weird because he literally has to fucking put on a film.
That everyone is waiting.
Meanwhile, everyone's in the audience.
Everyone's waiting. And like Dawson's friends are getting annoyed. Like, where is he? What's happening? Like, what's going on?
Why isn't this starting? And she's
Right.
like, let's get a coffee and I'll think about it. So they go to get a coffee. And then she does the fucking most bizarre shit. She's like, oh, there's my ex. The one that she just claimed to have broken up with over the phone. She's like, there's my ex. Kiss me. Under the pretense that she wants Dawson to kiss her so that she can make her
ex-boyfriend jealous.
So he's like, okay. And then they like make out for a little bit. And then she's like, is he looking? And he's like, I don't know.
My mouth has been on your mouth, so I don't know.
Yeah, and also I don't know what your ex-boyfriend looks like, so I don't know who I'm looking for. Like, who's watching?
And then she's like, tee, actually, that wasn't even him.
Oh my God, it was the same jacket, but it's not him.
Meanwhile, an hour has gone by, and everyone's still just sitting in the theater.
Also, meanwhile, this film critic
A lot of meanwhiles.
lady is like 30 years old.
Oh, right. Another older woman.
And Dawson is an 18-year-old
Yeah.
or 19-year-old dude. I don't know how anybody else is. They're all teenagers. It's once again a grown-ass fucking adult making out with a teenager.
A teenager whose film she's supposed to review.
Right. So then she's like, all right, well, let's just go back.
I feel like she's created a huge conflict of interest for herself.
Totally.
She made it totally weird. And then she says, she made some other comment like, oh, well, if I like your film, maybe you get to make out with me again. I'm
Ew,
like,
what? She says that?
yes. And I'm like,
Gross.
what are you doing?
What?
What are you doing? What is happening right now?
She threw her ethics out the window.
I think she just like was like hot for Dawson. But why?
What?
But why?
But why?
But why?
But why?
But why? It's Dawson. Why are we hot for Dawson?
Man, these writers are so fucked up. This is
No.
like their weird manic pixie dream. Every
They just
episode
want to
is like
see
their
a
weird-
bunch of adults bang teenagers.
Or have a bunch of teenagers bang each other.
Yeah.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
Let's see like the same 5 teenagers bang each other, and then occasionally bang an
Every
adult.
once in a while we'll pop in an inappropriately aged person.
Right, and they'll bang that person, and then they'll go back to banging each other.
Yeah.
This is just a weird fetish porn.
And we'll put it on the CW.
Yeah.
It's like super, super, super soft core.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It kind of is.
And
Guys,
kids were watching that shit.
we just cracked it, guys. We've been watching softcore porn this whole time. It's like a loose plot that doesn't quite make any sense.
But you and I watched it as adults.
Uh,
Melissa watched it as
A
child.
teenager. Yeah.
Her frontal lobe wasn't even fully formed yet, and she was watching this shit and
Do you
like
feel like this-
digesting it.
affected your sexuality in any way, Melissa? Do you have a thing for older men or older women?
Or
oth-
film critics.
Or other teenagers?
Definitely not other teenagers. Jesus. Older men. I mean, I don't know. I mean, no, not honestly, not through high school and college was I having fetishes or fantasies about older men. I was dating and hooking up with appropriately aged boys, you know, boys who were in my class, you know, at college, you know, boys who were in my class in high school. So all appropriately aged people.
Well, thank God that Dawson's Creek didn't poison your brain.
Well, I think
Yeah.
also Dawson's Creek, maybe rightfully so, kind of went in one ear and out the other because clearly I don't remember.
You didn't pick up on all this nuance when you were a teenager?
Definitely
you didn't
not.
analyze it to this degree.
No,
You weren't like the
definitely not.
writers of this show are deeply, deeply dysfunctional,
No,
spreading their dysfunction in their writing and then insisting that teenagers act out the dysfunction?
No.
No.
No, you didn't pick up on any
good.
of that?
That's
Okay,
good.
That's good. That's
No.
good. Maybe you're less cynical than we are now.
Whoosh, over my head.
All right. What was the next thing that happened in this show?
Well, so Dawson comes back. So he finally shows up to start presenting the film, and he gives a monologue, which I didn't pay attention to, so I don't know.
Well, one of the things that he said, he was like, listen, guys, this is like the first rough cut. This isn't done. This isn't done. It's not ready to be viewed.
But here we are.
But here it is.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I respect that speech.
Okay. All right.
It wasn't ready because that.
No, he said
Stu
it.
Gatz-
He said it in the beginning. He's like, this film is not ready to be shown to anybody.
Yeah, that Stu Gatz just like pushed him into it.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of Stu Gatz, Oliver kind of walks up the aisle and he walks past Jen. So Jen's rejected Oliver, but he walks past Jen and like gives her eyes, and then Jen like smiles and she says something, and Jack's like, what'd you say? She's like, oh, I didn't say anything. I don't remember what she said, but she said something. So I don't know if we're led to believe that Oliver was right. She is seeing him differently or something.
Yeah, I got the impression that we're meant to believe that she was impressed by his weird literal disappearing act where she turned around and he was like gone.
Yeah.
And he's like doing
so cool.
a weird thing, and she's like she's having like a Joey moment where she's like, oh girl, this is cute.
That's kind of cool.
My hair and my ears. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, no, because the guy's been a fucking douchebag the whole time. He's also your like literal ex-boyfriend that you just broke up with like yesterday. Film partner.
Yeah.
Like, just guys, stop.
Knock it off.
I think Oliver's going to be
Stop.
woven into the web.
I don't want him woven into the
Do you
web.
have?
I don't
do you
like-
think he's gonna like hook up with Joey too, and
Yeah, probably.
all the girls,
If-
Audrey? They're
Up
all
until
gonna,
this point, from what we've seen, I could see it going that way.
Yeah.
He'll just make his rounds.
they're all just everyone's just gonna bang. They should literally just start a cult where they all just bang.
DC cult.
A cult bang.
Yeah, a group marriage.
Yeah.
Why not? They're all clearly all into each other.
They can all be sister wives.
Correct. But sister husbands too, because you've got all the guys and all the girls. Even Jack.
Yeah.
Even though he's
He
gay.
could be a sister wife.
He could be a sister wife. Yeah. So then I think the episode just ends with the movie finally being viewed, right?
I think so.
Is that how it ends? Because I remember there being kind of like a slow motion pan of everyone's face, like viewing the film. It's really awkward.
And they're all in like,
They're all like in
awe.
awe already from like scene one.
they're like, wow, this is genius.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if the cut was the same. I watched it on HBO Max when they like finally put the film up on screen.
You watched Dawson's film on HBO Max?
I watched
The episode.
the episode of Dawson's Creek on HBO Max, and I don't know if the cut was the same, if it was on Hulu or not. But what they did was when they finally put the film up on screen, it was the credits for the show.
Yeah. That was the same
Oh.
on Hulu.
Okay.
Okay, so you saw
And that
nothing.
was clever. That was like kind of fun.
Was it though? Because I would kind of
Oh.
like to see the film. I would I want to see.
They're
what,
like, nah, you can't witness
there
this.
is no film.
Well, we saw them filming. We saw them filming
you
it.
know the film.
We saw a makeout scene and we saw an end scene where
With
there was
snow.
like a gun and some snow.
Yeah.
There's no plot point.
That's all you need to know.
Is it though?
That's all there is
I
to
kind of want
it.
to see this masterpiece that made Joey cry when she watched it, because she was like, oh my God, it's so good. And I'm going to see Dawson be a successful filmmaker. Even though
wonder-
he dropped out of UFC.
UFC.
And
Ultimate Fighting.
and is now at like Boston Art School.
I'm glad I'm not the only one fucking up the colleges.
She didn't even say a college. UFC is not a college. It's ultimate fighting. Ultimate
UCLFC. Whatever fucking school in LA he was going to, where he like showed up for one day and got his ass handed to him, and he was like, no thanks.
UFC. Ultimate UFC is Ultimate Fighting Championship. Okay, you just said UFC with such conviction. You're like, this is totally it. UFC.
I think she meant
UCLA.
USC.
University of Southern Carolina.
California.
University of South Carolina, guys. That's where the film
But he was in
schools
Hollywood. University of Southern California.
Yes.
UFC.
UFC.
No?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know where he was fucking flunked out of. But now he's in like Community College of Boston art
and
he
film.
basically
film
is.
school
Yeah.
with other flunkies where he feels superior. Because
But I mean, he's killing it in that scene.
yeah, he's
Like a big fish in a small pond.
exactly, because he tried to be a little tadpole in a giant ocean.
He did try to be a big fish in a small pond at USC, but he got brought down to earth.
Yeah, he was
brought down to earth.
He was literally there for like 12 hours.
Not even a full semester.
Yeah, and he was like,
Yeah. And
No.
he's like, I can't hack it.
yeah, he's like, I got my ass handed to me on the first day because I thought I was the fucking shit, and
Yeah.
somebody put me in my place, and I'm a narcissist, so I'm just gonna
I'm going to bounce.
I'm gonna bounce.
Bye.
And then
I'm going to go somewhere where
I'm not going to put forth any effort or work.
Yeah, he's
I'm
not-
just going to leave.
I'm just
first
gonna leave. And I'm
bad
gonna go
experience
somewhere where
that I
people love
have.
me.
I'm going to go home, tail between my legs.
Fuck the UFC.
Fuck the UFC.
Correct. I mean, he got his ass kicked and then he left. He pretty much the UFC.
Yeah, he wouldn't have gotten far in UFC either with that attitude.
Definitely not.
So, all right. Well, that was episode 18, guys.
All right.
We did it. Snaps. Good job, you guys. We'll be back next week with episode 19. We are Basic Teen TV. My name's Melissa.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Cindy coming at you from London town.
No.
All right.
All right. I'm Cindy.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.